Hello friends, my name is James. I'm known as Mr. Happy. I'm a happiness coach, inspirational speaker, author, entrepreneur and personal trainer. However, this is the now. It hasn't always been as positive. Part of my backstory is I used to be an ex-unbeaten street fighter, unlicensed boxer, martial artist, cage fighter and bouncer in some very grim establishments up and down the country, and at one point in the time in the Midlands working for a notorious biker gang. These were very violent days. I was a violent person. I was very negative, and I would like to speak, I suppose, today on some of the mental technologies and strategies that I used in my own life to transform from a very negative, violent, unhappy person, very scared, to who I am today, which is, I'm pleased to say, a huge contrast. So one of the stories I'd like to share with you that brings to mind facing and conquering massive amounts of fear, if I may please, is as a boxer, you spend a lot of time preparing for a fight. This is, or for any fight for that matter. And this is there's a lot of mental trepidation about this in the build-up to a fight. Weeks before, when one is training, you're aware of the ultimate end, which is of course the opponent. And you can become very tetchy with your wife or girlfriend, you know, very, basically it's a slow adrenaline dump. So it's like a drip feed, very slowly, that fight or flight, but it's coming over weeks and months, and you become a very difficult person to live with. And I remember I had advance notice of one particular fight, and I was told to arrive at Caesar's nightclub for this particular fight. It was an unlicensed fight. It was gloved, fortunately, so that one was gloved. However, I didn't know too many details about the opponent, i.e. what weight he was going to be and so on. So I was training very intensely. And again, I remember arriving at the venue in Streatham, and as is per usual before a fight, being flooded with fear and great, I suppose it's trepidation. And it was a very lonely spot because I didn't have any support at that time. It was something I took myself off. At that time I was very ashamed of the fighting area of my life, and I kept it from my nearest and dearest. And the most difficult times for a fighter are when he's on his own backstage, in the changing room. You're aware, you can hear the crowd outside, very much like the analogies with speaking are actually quite profound, because you are backstage, you can hear the hum of the crowd, and you're aware of this build-up. It's a palpable energy. But there I am, I'm on my own, and I have to come to terms with what I'm about to do. I have to face my fears. I'm going to go in and potentially gamble with my life against another human being. Added to this mental trauma was the unpreparedness that they deliberately do. This all came out later, but I was there, as is often the case in these more unlicensed venues, as the fall guy. So little known to me, I was against their middleweight champion, and I was actually at the time a lightweight. Now, in a normal regulated fight, two people of various weights would not meet because of the safety things. This is the therein dangers of the unlicensed game. This man was unbeaten middleweight champion, and I was there basically as the fall guy. I was expected to lose. A lot of people around, you know, gangsters and so on, they earn huge money on the side bets. So I was there to be beaten. People collect their money, everyone goes home happy. As I say, my loyalty and my principles don't allow me to, I'm not a fall guy for anyone. So I was there to win. And so behind the changing rooms, I'm dealing with all this massive amounts of trepidation and fear. And I understand that when I talk to you and people tell me about their fears, and it could be, you know, there could be fears of a forthcoming exam, fears of promotion, fears about one's true value, you know, their self-belief. You know, they call it the, an old sage said, you know, the true fear, there are 1,000 fears, you know, snakes, spiders, different things, but in truth there's only one fear, the fear of fear itself. So I understand your fear because I've grappled with my own. And so all of this is going on behind, so I didn't have to face my fears ultimately. And for me, that meant actually going into the ring, the first time I hear about my opponent, the first time I see him, he's just there, literally a few yards away from me. Obviously a physically bigger man, and immediately I'm flooded with intense fear. They call it the adrenaline dump, because I thought I was going to have a straightener. This would be maybe another 9-stone man. I was told to weigh in as a lightweight. My man's a middleweight. Already I know I'm going to have to work out that much harder, because you know, he has to hit me once to cause a bit of damage. I have to do more work because he weighs heavier. That's just the way the punching goes. Anyway, the fight starts. We get into it. The long and the short of it is touch words. Now I knock him out. I win the fight. But as I often tell people, you know, I was quite lucky on that particular night to get out of there in one piece, because obviously I upset a lot of people. The money was on the next man. I was there to lose. I don't go with that. So it causes problems therein. But over and above that, you then have to live with yourself as a person. And what I was doing and who I wanted to be were very disparate. They were very separate. You know, I was fighting, and I could tell myself that it's a sport and so on. But I wanted to be Mr. Happy, the happiness coach, and here I am fighting others. This wasn't congruent. And increasingly after the fight, you have the physical and the aches and pains of someone, but actually what hurt me the most was the sort of the mental, the dealing with, if you like, one's conscience, trying to sleep at night, trying to put these two people, you know, the bad side and the good side. So I want to let people know that through massive self-introspection and through reading thousands of books and attending many hundreds of hours of seminars, I gradually began to if you like, to pull myself up out of the negative pit that I was in. So I do want to encourage those that may be tripped in all sorts of, it could be dire financial circumstances, it could be a trapped relationship. The point is that we can change, and a very key thing for me is I'm living proof that a leopard can change his spots. I hear a lot of talk about a leopard can't change his spots. That's patently untrue, and that's very important, because I hear it a lot, and it's a mind virus, and we accept things because they're said. They're not always true. We have to examine this. And so I want you may be a parent and your son or daughter could be going through difficulties. Never give up on them. Never give up on them. Your brother, your son, your friend could be an alcoholic, a drug addict. Never give up on them. People have the power to change inherently in them. I've done it myself. So I would like that to be quite an important part of my message. Never give up on people, because if I spoke to myself a few years ago, I would have given up on me. So I think that's very important. And in closing, I would just like to reiterate, a leopard can change his spots, and it's been an honour speaking to you today. That's Mr. James Lambert, the Happiness Coach.